Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. Go to church tonight. We had a good podcast last night, the Ozark Gospel Podcast. Josh was with us. You need to flip over and watch that. We had a good discussion about how Jesus is God. We finished chapter 6 yesterday in the book of the prophet Isaiah. I'm not 100% today. I'm having trouble getting awake and staying awake. We had a good night last night, and I got plenty of sleep, but just some mornings I don't do too well. But I'm okay. I'm not sick or anything. I don't have the flu or something. But we have doctor's appointments this morning at 10:45 and then rehab at 12:45. So I think what we'll do is we'll go to town and take care of my morning appointment and then go get a bite of lunch and then go to rehab so that we don't have to. Because if we come back to Ozark, it's really not enough time to just get home and turn around and go back up there again. So we will make use of the time. Maybe go to the bookstore. Remember they used to have bookstores? Because they have a great secondhand shop. Great bookstore, ABC Books up on North Glenstone. It's on the other side of town from the hospital though, but we still have a Barnes & Noble. It's a freestanding brick and mortar store. I don't know how they survive, but somehow they do. People have basically quit reading, so it's kind of hard to have a bookstore. It's going to get harder as things go on. I'm going to try to begin chapter 7 of Isaiah. I'll warn you in advance, I'm not 100%. My brain is not clicking the way it usually does. I don't think I'm firing on all 8 cylinders. Of course, not many cars now have an 8-cylinder engine. Now, chapter 7 of the book of the prophet Isaiah. This is under Ahaz. Remember, King Uzziah died in 758. Jotham, his son, reigned for a while. Then Ahaz took over from Jotham. And under Ahaz, the scripture said that he was not a great king. But he did not follow after his fathers, especially Uzziah, who had a great ministry until he decided that he wanted to be a priest near the end of his life. And I've told you this story where he tried to sacrifice and offer incense at the altar of the Lord, and God struck him with leprosy. And he lived in a separated house for the last years of his life, and his son Jotham reigned in a regency until Uzziah died. And then he did not seek to the Lord to heal him. He just lived a quiet life until he died. Ahaz would be his grandson. Jotham had a reasonable, respectable rule. But Ahaz, his heart is evil before the Lord. 2 Kings, I think it's 16. Now he did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord. A couple of times when people were looking, where he wanted to play like he was religious. But you see that when Jotham was dead, and he only reigned 16 years as a regent, and then in his own right, after his father Uzziah died, Jotham, then Ahaz, Jotham's son, reigned in his stead. In chapter 16 of the 2 Kings, in the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, this is in Israel, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel. Yea, just like his father did, not like Ahaz. Let me say that Jotham was respected. What Jotham did, Ahaz's father, he reigned competently when Uzziah was a leper at the end of his life, and then he reigned competently, but he did evil in a couple of times. Now, he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, but he didn't follow after him the way David did, but he followed after him publicly and privately as Uzziah had, his father, but not perfectly. The high places weren't removed. People still sacrificed. They still sacrificed to the gods of the land. So you could say that he was good on occasion. Now, Ahaz, he was really bad. You see, you got godly Uzziah, mostly godly till the end of his life. Uzziah, mostly godly Jotham, and then the grandson who is not godly at all, except when he thinks people are looking. It said that he did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father, but he walked in the way of the kings of Egypt. Yea, he made his son to pass through the fire. That is human sacrifice, sacrificing children to Baal and to Molech and to Chemosh, the abomination of the Ammonites or the Moabites. One. He caused his children, his son, who would reign in his stead, Helen, God bless you, to pass through the fire. In other words, to be a sacrifice, sacrificing him to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. He sacrificed and burned incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. So this is where we are at the King Ahaz, in the year around 740. 16 years from 758 to 742. Verse 1, chapter 7, it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against him, but could not prevail against it. That means that Israel is fighting with Judah again. Remember the great civil war. They split. Judah and Benjamin to the south, and the other 10 tribes in the north, with Samaria as their capital. Over the years, this just mixed and matched a lot because all the godly people just about snuck out of Israel and came down to Judah, where Jerusalem was, where the temple was, especially most of the Levites and the priestly class. And many of them didn't come just because they were godly men, but because they couldn't get a job. Because Jeroboam and his descendants in the northern kingdom of Israel, they had built the temples at Dan and Bethel and made golden calves to worship, the symbol of Baal. So they were really Baal worshippers and didn't know it yet. Not until Jezebel came, the princess of Baal. But Samaria aligned and allied with Syria against Judah. So you got Israel, the northern kingdom, in a confederacy with Syria, whose capital is Damascus, to go against Judah. And they went into Judah and took some of the fenced cities. They took some of the places. But they couldn't prevail against Jerusalem. They sent forays to fight. They could not prevail in the heart of the country at Jerusalem or at the capital. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. And of course, in the prophetic books, you'll see that Ephraim and Israel are used interchangeably, referring to the northern kingdom of Israel, whose capital is Samaria. Falls to the Assyrians in 732 BC. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people. And the trees of wood are moved with the wind. The house of David, he's talking about Ahaz the king. Isaiah doesn't even name him here, the house of David. He's framing this like this news is coming to David's descendants, not to any one particular descendant, because I tell you right now, Isaiah did not think too much of Ahaz. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, the king of Judah, that Rezin the king of Syria, and Pekah the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told unto the house of David. Did Isaiah send one of his servants to just talk to the king's court? Did they tell the king's younger brother, maybe he would have been of the house of David too? We don't have the details of this, but it's a very strange thing that he would go to the court, to the house of David, to David's descendants who were alive, and in the court of the king, instead of just going directly to the king himself. It was told. It doesn't say Isaiah went there and told him. Did he send one of his sons? Did he send a servant? Well, this is really weird stuff going on here, because as Isaiah, he doesn't seem to want to, he doesn't like Ahaz, and he doesn't seem to want to acknowledge that he even exists. It reminds me of Elisha when he went with the king of Israel and the king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, and they called on him to tell them what to do. And Elisha said, look, tells the king of Israel, if it wasn't for the king of Judah here, I wouldn't even see you. But I'm here because of him and because of the house of David. I think old Isaiah was kind of prickly, and he had some things he would do and some things he wouldn't do. And this is roughly 16 years after he saw his vision, because it's after Jotham is dead and Ahaz is the king. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz the son of Jotham, that the son of Uzziah, the king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of wood are moved with the wind. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz. It makes you wonder if God hadn't told him to go meet Ahaz before, because he said, Go forth now to meet Ahaz. Maybe before God just told him some things, and Isaiah sent a messenger to the house of David, to the court. But now God is being specific. I really don't believe Isaiah rebelled. God knew that Isaiah hated Ahaz, didn't have no use for him. But so maybe he was just waiting to see what was going to transpire among these people before he sent Isaiah into the breach, as it were. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah in verse 3, chapter 7 of Isaiah, I'm sorry, beloved. I'm having trouble getting enough air today. But we got rehab today, so I'll be humping and bumping, but not very fast. And since we're going to eat out today, I'll probably get something that'll make me fatter. What do you think about that? Maybe I'll have a salad instead, but I wouldn't want you to bet cash money on that, because if we wind up going to Steak and Shake or something like that, I'm going to get a steak burger or chili size or something like that. I like their chili and spaghetti. And you know me, I never met a noodle I didn't like. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, he's giving him direct instruction now. Go forth to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear-Jashub, thy son. Then he tells him where to meet him, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. That's God telling Isaiah, look, Ahaz is going to be there today. You just need to be there and talk to him. You don't have to worry about going into the palace or the king's house. You don't have to worry about going to the temple. You don't have to worry about all the dog and pony show to address his majesty. He's going to be by the pool, on the road, in the field, at a certain time today. Go meet him. You and Shear-Jashub, thy son. That's a weird thing to name your son, but when you think about Isaiah, he preaches about the remnant. He preaches about the remnant that will come back from Babylon. He talks about the remnant of Israel that never came back from Assyria, but one day will, in the future regathering of Ezekiel chapter 36 and 37, which began to be fulfilled on May 14th, 1948, with the establishment of the state of Israel. But they're there in unbelief, you see. What Isaiah also preaches about the remnant that will return to the land, that will be alive at the end of the Great Tribulation, when the Lord Jesus will come with his garments drenched in blood, when he comes out of Bozrah, when he comes fresh from the battlefield at Armageddon and delivers his people. Good morning, Travis. God bless you. We got doctor's appointments today. Maybe I'll be doing better by night. You never know. Our old friend Travis. God bless you, Travis. So Isaiah preaches about a remnant many times. And he already has, and I've told you about the remnant. But he named his son, one of his sons, he named him A Remnant Shall Return, or The Remnant Returns. That's what he named one of his sons. That's how strong his faith was in what God was going to do. He named his son, God shall save a remnant shall return, a remnant returns. That's what Shir Jashub means. And in the next chapter, we'll see another one of his sons. And it's a long, confusing word, and it's got a definition too. In these olden days, people named their kids or had some meaning to it. The last time we remember anything like that here in this country were the indigenous peoples, the American Indians. I'm so sorry. I know I've got plenty of sleep. I ate an egg sandwich for breakfast. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have a fever, but my body is not responding to stimuli. I apologize again for my lack of energy. I hope I'm not getting the facts wrong. They seem pretty straight in my head. Verse 3, Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, that's the king, thou and Shir Jashub, the remnant shall return, thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. And say to him, to who? To Ahaz. And say to him, Take heed and be quiet. It reminds me of Moses saying, Shut up and stand still and see the foundation of your Lord. For the Egyptians you see before you, the Egyptians you see before you today, you shall see them no more again forever. Fear not, stand back and shut up. Because Ahaz is preparing for war against Israel and Syria. Go talk to Ahaz and say unto Ahaz, verse 4, Take heed and be quiet. That means listen to me. Shut up. And then he says, Fear not, neither be faint-hearted. Fear not, I am with thee. Fear not, little flock. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And Isaiah said to Ahaz, verse 4, Take heed, be quiet, and fear not, neither be faint-hearted. In other words, man up. Stand tall, don't you fall. Yeah, stand tall. And say to him, Take heed and be quiet. Fear not. I'll cover every inch of the ground where I stand. I'll die before I run, and I won't back down. And I'll stand my ground. Bob Dylan and Tom Petty in kindergarten. Hey, teacher, he stole my glue. Hey, he took mine too. And I won't back down. And say unto him, Take heed and be quiet. Fear not, neither be faint-hearted for the two tails of these smoking firebrands. He's saying that they're all smoke and no fire. These smoking firebrands, they're all talk and no action. All hat and no cattle. They're full of boo. They're full of boo. woolly bully. For these, neither be faint-hearted for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and of the son of Remaliah. That's the king of Egypt. Pekah, or Pekah. Now, context, and say to him, Isaiah, say to Ahaz, take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and of the son of Remaliah. Because, this is why, you don't need to be afraid. Now, they've already taken some outside perimeter towns on the frontier, fenced cities, the outposts, so to speak, of the kingdom. And he says, God says, don't be afraid of them. Says, don't be faint-hearted, because they're just blowing smoke. They're fool-a-boo. And this is why, verse 5, chapter 7, Isaiah, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah. Ephraim means Israel, as I explained, the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom. Syria and Ephraim in the country, and then also the son of Remaliah, Pekah, have taken evil counsel against thee. It says, don't be afraid of them. Just shut up, be quiet, stand still. Beautiful verse. Be still and know that I'm God. That was that Psalm. Is that a Psalm or is it an Isaiah? Isaiah is so beautiful. Sometimes I forget. I can't remember. Is it Isaiah 40? Why, yes, I believe it is. You know, I'm never good with verses. That's why I carry this Bible around with me everywhere I go. No, that ain't it. That's where it says every time I send my word forth, you know, it'll prosper. It'll do that which I sent it to do. Maybe it's 46:11. It's something 11. Now that's where I'm God and there ain't no other. I can't find it. Somewhere it says, be still and know that I am God. And those are the exact words, but I can't remember the verse. You probably do. What I will do, if I remember when I get through with this program, I will post where it is, because I know it's in here somewhere. But for all of me, I cannot find it. So anyway, I will post it in the comments. It says, take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and of the son of Remaliah. They've taken counsel against thee, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst, even the son of Tabeel. What they want to do is they want to come in. they want to breach the wall and take the city of Jerusalem and set up a puppet king. That would also mean killing the seed royal, the house of David. Which God is not going to allow to happen. Even when Nebuchadnezzar comes and destroys the temple, he does not kill all the seed royal because some of them live. Jeconiah is already alive in Babylon. He's part of the seed royal. Daniel was also, and his friends were also of the royal seed. They're already in Babylon at that time, but of course they can't be in the lineage because they're eunuchs by then. But that's what they want to do. They're going to set up a puppet king, the son of Tabeel, who was one of the rich men in Israel. And then the Syrians Damascus was going to use him as a puppet king because they're already using Pekah as a puppet king in Samaria, you see. Good morning, Sheila. Glad you're with us. We prayed for you the other morning. We hope you're doing well. Now it's our turn for doctors and hospitals today. Plus rehab. Rehab will be fun. I keep thinking I'll perk up after rehab. Because Syria, Ephraim, son of Remaliah, have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us. And set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabiel. And because they've done this, because they're plotting against you, Ahaz, and against Judah, because they're doing this, thus saith the Lord, verse 7, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. It ain't going to happen. All their plans, they're not going to happen. These outposts they've taken from you, they're going to turn around and go home. You can go back and rebuild. The cities that they've captured, they're going to abandon them. They're going to be yours again. Their conspiracy will fail. God says everything they plotted against you is not going to happen. Trent, God bless you. I'm glad you're with us today. What they plan to do to you, Judah, will fail because God is the God of Israel. And Israel is his land, and he will do with it what he wants to do. He sets up kings. He takes them down. Thank you, Sheila. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabiel. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall not come to pass, neither shall it stand. It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. And then God explains to Isaiah, for the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, and that it be not a people. Samaria fell in 732 BC. By 580 BC, by 680 BC, they were all scattered and taken captive into Mesopotamia. Well, it's only 10 or 12 years from the time this is written before Samaria falls to the Assyrians, but it takes another 40-something years for them to be completely dispersed after the Assyrians set up governors in Samaria and in Israel in the northern kingdom. So this prophecy comes to pass. during the 680s BC. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. And they're not a people, they never returned. The northern kingdom never returned. They're called the 10 lost tribes, but they're not lost. God knows who they are. They just never returned from the captivity. They are now. They began coming back on May 14th, 1948. They will continue to come back, and then there'll be a great gathering, like I say, for the millennial kingdom. At the time, Paul refers to when all Israel should be saved, and that'll be when Jesus comes and fetches the remnant back into the promised land, and they get the second opportunity to have the kingdom. Oh, they take it this time. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's sons. If you will not believe, surely you shall not be established. Now, what God is saying here is that if you don't believe what I'm doing and saying, and if you act on your own, you're not going to be established. You're going to be beaten. And what God is trying to explain to Ahaz through Isaiah is that if you go and fight with Syria and Samaria, you're going to lose. But if you let me confound them and just stay home and don't go fight them, that you'll lose. And you'll win if you stay and don't fight them. Let me take care of them. You'll lose if you go and fight them. If you will not believe, surely you shall not be established. I have to go. I love you all. Gayla, I love you. I hope you're doing well. Happy birthday. Look, I know I'm not 100% today, but you guys all know that there are days like that. All of you regulars know that sometimes it's not as good as others, but the information is always good and it's profitable for you to know, or I would not spend my time doing it. God loves you. Jesus died for you. And by the way, I love you too. We'll take it up again tomorrow.